Buongiorno, buon pomeriggio, e buonasera, Lazio world. Welcome to our instant reaction pod. I'm your host, Sean McIntosh, going solo today to react live right after Lazio Lecce. My boy Caleb leaving me out to dry today. He's getting ready for the holidays out of town. So doing this one solo, excited to come off the heels of a 2-0 victory going into, for those that celebrate here in the United States, Thanksgiving, feeling good. Lots of positives to talk about. It's been a little while. We had our international break, which for those of you that follow the Azzurri, is never easy. And so it was nice to get back to talking about Lazio, which is also never easy and not much of a break, but here we are, and gave us an opportunity to get healthy, and at least that's what we were hoping. We were hoping to see some players return, and we didn't have much of that. So taking a look at the starting 11, we had hoped for, at the very least, a return of Tati Castellanos, and we did not get that. Tati still seems to be another week or two away from returning, so we are left with Dia as the man leading the line. We thought maybe we would see the return of Nuno Tavares, who was included in the fixture list, really the only player who came back from injury. But we went a full 97 minutes without seeing him, which begs to question what his future will be. We have heard that he was placed on the winter market list. We know that we'll have to sell players, particularly players that may be of value, in order for us to make any moves for any incomings. So let's jump right into this thing. Again, Dia leading the line. Aside from that, only one major change, and that's Pellegrini finding himself in that starting position with Marusic, meaning that right back, your normal Romagnoli and Gila. And then it's Zaccagni, it's Isaacson on the right, and your midfield trio, Basic, Cataldi, and Guendouzi. This one, look, it was honestly a performance that started off a little bit rough. 6 minutes in, and Lecce find themselves hitting the back of the net. They score a bit of a deflection, but it is ruled no goal after a foul on Isaacson, a hand to Isaacson's face, maybe a push off. I'll be honest, would love to hear from Laziali and really, in particular, any neutrals. I thought, of course, a sigh of relief, but I thought it was a bit harsh. I thought Lazio got away with one there. Could have very easily been given, and Lazio lucky to get away there unscathed. And then in the 9th minute, Basic plays a wonderful curling pass, top of the box to Guendouzi, who softly passes it into the keeper. No real threat. In that first 15 minutes, I thought I saw a series of chances in the box. Dia had a shot blocked. Isaacson had a shot blocked. Lots of Lecce bodies in the box, but you saw a Lazio side that was clearly a side that has spent a little bit more time on the training pitch. The way that they were connecting their passes, much sharper, a lot more intent. 20th minute, Dia and Isaacson force a turnover. Basic a little bit slow to decide whether to shoot. Ultimately, it's blocked. 22nd minute, another opportunity. Then ultimately, we find ourselves in the 29th minute. Guendouzi, just really nice work by Basic, who finds himself fighting for a ball on the touchline, plays it back into the dangerous area. Guendouzi gets an awkward lunge to it, and it drops past the keeper. We have another chance in the 36th minute. Basic, a wonder strike off of a volley that just directed. It's direct to the keeper, but really would have been a thunderous strike. And halftime, we go into halftime feeling good, confident, but only up one, and a little bit of unluckiness, you could say, in the 51st minute. Dia finds the back of the net. We've been waiting for this moment. Dia pouncing and pressuring, wins the ball, places in the back of the net. But after a VAR check, it seemed no goal. Again, the referee really, really harsh here. I thought it was typical contact, not necessarily shoulder to shoulder, but I thought it's fair contact from Dia and really unfair to wipe the goal clean. And then nervy moments from Lazio. They have some chances. 72nd minute, Dia finds Guendouzi, who places his shot, beats the keeper, hits the post, and then the ball is played back in. Zaccagni with a wonderful diving scissor kick attempt that beats the keeper, goes far post, hits the post again, and it's still 1-0. 7 minutes of stoppage time, which again, questionable moment by the referee, nervy moments, and then in the late stages, 95th minute, Noslin does well to win the ball, fights off his defender, 1v1 with the keeper. It is saved, but he follows his shot up, finds the back of the net. 2-0 Lazio in an important must-win match to keep pace. My 3 words or less to describe this one is attacked with purpose. Much sharper, crisper passing, moving with intent. Dia was a lot stronger in his hold-up play, in his touches were a lot cleaner, in his movements. Everybody seemed to be on the same page. This was one where it felt a lot more like a Sarri side. We had 68% possession, 1.85 expected goals to Lecce's 0.62, 19 total shots to Lecce's 5, 9 of those on target. Lecce only had 1 on frame. We had 2 big chances. 1 of those missed. Again, we hit the post multiple times. We were really didn't force a ton of big saves, but we were creating pressure. We were in the box. We were forcing Lecce to defend. Finally, we were able to break through in the late stages to secure that safety net goal. But this was a Lazio side that just seemed to be a lot better with possession. We've talked about this Lazio side in that it was going to need to be a side that defended really well and played on the counter. Well, today was that Sarri-like team. It was much, much better. You saw just a ton of confidence in possession. And when I think about who my man of the match was, so many key players in this side. We'll talk about Bidone, which is nearly impossible to name, but I thought everybody played a key role in this. My man of the match, look, Guendouzi walks away with a goal, but my man of the match, it's Toma Basic in every phase. He looked like not just a player that was fitting in. We know the state of Basic. We know the story, incredible story. We know we've loved what he's given so far. And a lot of it was through the lens of man, he was on the outs. He very much looks like a player that can be of value. Today, he looked like a legitimate starting Serie A midfielder. And look, we can talk about this being Lecce. And I know that's kind of the instant reaction to all of this. It was just Lecce. However, in this season, in the year 2025, in the campaign of 2025-2026, given the state of where this Lazio side is, with the crop of players that we have, with the limited technical ability that this side has, I think it's important, regardless of the opponent. So Basic looked like a very, very good midfielder today. An absolute technical performance, the pressure he was putting on, the way that he was pressing, and then you think about that goal that we scored, and that is all his work. The fight for the ball, making the right pass in a dangerous place, allowing Guendouzi to get to it. What an absolute class performance by Toma Basic. He created the most chances in this match. You think about Zaccagni and a lot of the positive work that he did today. And it was our midfielder, Toma Basic, the man who was deemed unsellable, who created the most chances in this match, finds himself with an assist, a couple great cracks at it. You see the hunger for goal. Look, just what an incredible performance by him. But want to give some shout outs here because I think it should go without saying. But look, Dia, we've knocked him time and time again, rightfully so. And today was not some world-class performance, and the bar is really, really low. But I do want to commend him for what I saw today. This was a player that seemed very much out of place, that looked like he had two cement bricks as feet. But today he did a really nice job. He created a couple chances. He had a couple shots blocked. He forced the keeper into an early save in this game. He did not look out of place. He was making the right runs. One of the gripes that I've had about Dia is very much in the way he presses. He seems to ease up when he's kind of in that final stage of his press. He's very much proven that he's not going to be a player that presses all the way up to the keeper. So really, keepers and center backs know that there's not a lot to be afraid of when you see Dia coming your way. And today, his relentless pressure led to a goal that was ultimately taken away, but it was his work, his fighting effort. I thought he was a lot sharper on the ball. And so I want to commend the work that we saw from him today, and a lot sharper, a lot better at his hold up play. The runs that he was making was opening up space for players around him. So really, really strong work. I also really liked what I saw from Pellegrini on that left side with Zaccagni. Zaccagni, another workman's-like performance from that winger position. Look, again, he's the most fouled player in the match. He's fouled 4 times, but he won the most duels. This man won 10 duels in this match. And so a player who unfortunately doesn't walk away with a goal or an assist, which is what he will ultimately judged on. And when fans, particularly of opposing teams, take a look at his stat sheet at the end of the season, they'll talk about how he's not a world-class winger and Italy doesn't produce wingers of old, and he's not scoring and assisting, and we need to see some of that from him. But again, he's just fouled. He's relentlessly fouled. He's putting pressure. He's winning duels. He's creating. I did like what I saw from him. And then, Isaacson, another one that I thought played really, really well. He just seems to be gaining more and more confidence. He's coming off an international break in which he is becoming a real star player for Denmark, and that confidence is starting to bleed over into Lazio. So really happy with what we saw from him. And then when I start to think about my bidone, this may be the toughest one that I've had, because there were no poor performers today. Early in the match, I was really frustrated with what I saw from Guendouzi, and it was a couple sloppy turnovers early in the match. It was losing possession, even in some of the chances that he had. It seems like he has an aversion to taking like a true crack at it. When he has a shot, he's always trying to place it versus having a real go at it. And funny enough, the goal that he scores is, just a placement, again, an awkward lunge into it, maybe gets a bit fortunate. Even the shot where he hits the post, it's him trying to place it. And so I thought early in the match he was completely out of it, but to his credit, he absolutely turned it around, walks away with a goal. Had a couple chances. Ultimately, at the end of the match, he's forced into defending, and he's in the right position. There were a couple big duels that he won. So I thought it would have been really, really harsh to have given him the bidone. Again, we talk about Dia. I think it's real harsh to give it to him in a match where I thought, given his standard of play, he rose and grew. So I'm going to cop out here. And I know I really challenge ourselves to always hand out a bidone as a poor performer, but I'm going to give it to the ref because I think there were 3 really bad calls on his front. Now, the decision to not give Lecce the goal in the 6th minute of the match obviously benefits us. But I thought that was a really harsh call for Lecce. And then it was kind of paid back, you could say, in a really harsh call against Dia. If you're not able to get into a real shoulder-to-shoulder physical match, then you're really taking a lot away from the physicality of the game. And I thought those were 2 really, really soft calls from the ref. And then the decision to hand out 7 minutes of stoppage time, certainly a decision that could have killed Lazio. I mean, we know what this side does. We know the history of Lazio. We know the nervy moments. And certainly the expectation was that we weren't able to find that second killer goal, that certainly we were going to be paid and we were going to suffer with something cruel at the end. And so we were able to escape, of course, but man, 7 minutes, I'm not sure how that referee came to that decision. There was no goal in the second half. There was no real stoppages, no red cards. So that one, I thought a couple really key decisions from the referee that left me scratching my head. So very, very happy with the overall performance of this Lazio side. Again, we were hoping to score that second goal a bit earlier, but it took Noslin. I mean, look, we've called for this guy to play, and every single time this season that he has come into a match, he has either created a very real chance or he has resulted directly in a goal. Today, of course, walks away with the one that seals it himself. But even in the lead up to that, just moments where his sharp passes, his ability to get to a ball first, make the right decision, and then immediately turn and run up field, was creating chances. And he looked like a player that was playing with confidence, like he had been a part of this squad. And I love his attitude. Every single time he comes into a match, he looks like he's hungry to create. So yeah, I don't know how many times we have to call for it, but we would love to see Noslin get a start or get more time in a match, even if it's an earlier substitution. So fantastic work from him. But overall, what a team performance, absolute team performance. If we play like this, with that confidence, with that level of sharpness, is this the side finally turning it around? Again, I know it's only Lecce, but it felt really, really good, and it looked like a side that knew what it was doing. And so it's now we see ourselves going into a really tough run here. Next Saturday, we've got Milan, and it's Milan at San Siro. It's a big one. They've got the derby, their own derby here, de la Madonnina, starting and getting ready to kick off. So, won't know whether they're going to be coming off the highs of a derby win or the lows of a derby loss. So either way, this is going to be a Lazio side that's really put to the test in that match with again, a follow-up match days later against that very same Milan. back in Rome in the Coppa Italia before we have to play Bologna. So Bologna riding high. And it'll be interesting to see if we can turn this into a bit of a run here. Lazio now find themselves at 8th in the table, 18 points. We are level on points with Como, who has a match in hand, who is yet to play their weekend's fixture. That'll come tomorrow against Torino. But we're kind of in the thick of things. Juve dropping points against the last place. Fiorentina only puts us 2 points behind Juve, who sit in 6th. Depending on what happens with Milan Inter right now, we see Roma at top of the table. That could very well change with an Inter win. So Lazio kind of creating some momentum. It's only been one loss in the past, I think, 5 or 6 matches. So we're doing our part to survive until we get into that winter market, which will really give us an idea of the ambitions of this club in this season. So I feel good. I feel good about the performance, certainly the 3 points, but it's the way we went about it, and starting to see a side that's maybe grasping a little bit of what Sarri wants. We'll really know whether this side is hitting their stride next week against Milan. Whether I'm doing this podcast alone or I've got my